I do think Q1, Q2 next year will be very good for interest rate cuts. In my Bitcoin portfolio, probably about 90% Bitcoin, 10% DATs. If you're irrational, you may just, market sell them. So it depends on your risk profile. The market is very volatile right now, so I can't say, are we at the absolute bottom? But typically, if there has been a large sell-off, it can be a good buy opportunity.
From the desk of Kingsley Advani.
I'm Kingsley Advani. I'm an investor and founder of Allocations. We have invested over $45 million into DATs, and I've personally made over 200 investments, and very excited to be here. Bitcoin is down, I think it's about 96K right now, and DATs are down. There's a few reasons for this. I would say generally the market, we have interest rate cuts that are less certain than they were before. I think there was about a 90% chance there would be a December rate cut. Now the market, I think, is divided. I think it's about 50% odds. So interest rates are very important for risk assets like DATs. And so I do think Q1, Q2 next year will be very good for interest rate cuts, but the market has had a bit of sell-off because of that. Also, you've had the government shutdown, the longest US government shutdown on record. It's just ended now. And we have had a short-term burst of the DAT bubble. We've had, MNAV premiums as high as 23x for some companies. And so the DAT market has been correcting slightly. But I think this is just a short-term market shock. I think in the medium to long run, DATs are still very early and we have a long way to go. With DATs, you're investing in a levered play on the underlying token. So if Bitcoin hits all-time highs, the DAT will also do well, right? It's a levered acceleration upwards. But when the market goes down, then it's a levered acceleration downwards. So for DAT investors, it can be quite volatile. So there is some macro effects, but also Bitcoin as well. Investors can be quite irrational. So if you have, some DATs in your portfolio and they start crashing, if you're irrational, you may just, market sell them if you want to cut your losses. So theoretically, it should maintain a 1x MNAV, but the market is irrational. So you will have MNAV premiums and MNAV discounts. But I also think this is for DATs trading at a discount MNAV. It's a great opportunity for M&A and stock buybacks. So we recently saw Strive acquire Semler Scientific. I think it was about a 0.8x or 0.9x MNAV. And I think they paid about 3x the stock price. So when DATs are trading a discount to MNAV, I think we'll see more M&A and also stock buybacks. I think we saw Orange BTC recently do a stock buyback and also Metaplanet. So I think discount to MNAV is an opportunity as well. Maybe I'll start for me personally. I'm about, in my Bitcoin portfolio, probably about 90% Bitcoin, 10% DATs. So it depends on your risk profile. DATs, again, they're a levered play on the underlying token. So when the market is in an upwards trend, it will typically, the DAT will perform pretty well. But on a downward trend like we recently had, it will perform quite badly. So it depends on your risk appetite. You could be 80% Bitcoin, 20% DATs. You could be 80% DATs, 20% Bitcoin. So it depends on your investment profile. We have had a lot of investors on our platform invest with Bitcoin into these deals. So they may already have Bitcoin. They think DATs are a great opportunity. So they may put some of their Bitcoin into some of these DAT companies. So yeah, it depends on your risk appetite. As I mentioned, DATs are levered plays on Bitcoin on the upside and the downside. You want to buy low and sell high. So if the market is down and trading at discounts, it can be a good buy signal. But I can't say, is this the bottom or do we have more to go? It's difficult to tell. And there are a lot of macro factors like interest rates, Fed shutdowns, tariffs. So the market is very volatile right now. So I can't say, are we at the absolute bottom? But typically, if there has been a large sell-off, it can be a good buy opportunity. And I have actually added to some of my DAT positions just this morning. DATs are globally distributed now. So you can pick any type of product and any type of market. So, and this is only accelerating. So you can have, the spot markets, you can have yield type products where you can, get a 10% annual coupon. And we've looked at DATs everywhere. So not just US, South America, even UAE recently. There's African Bitcoin Corporation coming soon. There's Europe. You have Australia as well, Digital X. So there's many different DAT markets. And I think it's a great selection for investors to, pick a few that resonate with them. And I think this is only accelerating. I think there'll be DATs in every continent. And as you said before, I think every company will be able to be a Bitcoin treasury company eventually.